What's up, bookworms? Welcome to episode 116 of the Cantina Book Club podcast, where readers can find interviews with authors from all genres. I'm Megan, self proclaimed content queen, here to bring you insights from the authors themselves. Each week features a Cantina conversation with an author. Sometimes they're returning guests, and sometimes it's someone new. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on an episode, and feel free to browse through existing episodes so that you could catch a previous interview about a book that you finished. Today's episode features a chat with Rachel Howzell Hall, talking about her book, The Cruel Dawn, and that is the sequel to the last one. It is a duology, and both books are available now. Such a fun conversation with Rachel. I loved catching up with her and learning how the parallels of what she and other women go through, women of color almost too, go through in society, and how those experiences paralleled with her own in her own life. So some spoilers do pop up in these conversations, but the episode is more enjoyable anyway if you've read the book already. So if you're wondering why Rachel and I are cackling a little bit about what she puts her characters through, hit pause, add this episode to your playlist, and go pick up a copy of the last one and The Cruel Dawn. The interview will be here when you are ready. Just a heads up that I often use adult language to express my feelings towards these authors and their work, whether the characters need to get their shit together or I'm just saying what the fuck to for the authors for making me feel things. Just please be mindful around listening ears. The week of today's books coming out this week, Been by Chelsea Curto just came out. If you don't know, she does interconnected, standalone hockey romance, and I don't know what it is. I just really love her characters, and I really love the stories and the way that she writes. She writes them authentically and really puts a lot of care into her storytelling. So definitely go check that out. And now a word from Crystal Hope, founder of the Book Podcast Connection.
Hello, listeners. My name is Crystal Hope. I am the host of Must Love Books podcast and the organizer of the Book Podcast Connection. The BPC is a networking group of over 100 book-related podcasts, from fantasy to romance to horror and every genre in between. There are even podcasts for authors and writers. Check us out on Instagram at Book Podcast Connection or at www.bookpodcastconnection.com and discover your next bookish obsession.
Now, I know I'm biased, but I definitely recommend you all check out the amazing plethora of bookish podcasts and subscribe if you're looking to get more out of your reading lists. Without further ado, get ready, grab your favorite drink. Here is Rachel Howzell. Okay, we've got Rachel Howzell Hall. We're talking about The Cruel Dawn. That is the sequel to the last one. Both books are available now. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me today. We were talking about it before, how crazy that, like, I was looking forward to the sequel. I was itching to see how things were going to go, and we were going to get the bigger picture and the higher stakes and figure out how the heck Kai is going to fulfill her role, so to speak. I'm
Yes.
excited to dig a little bit deeper today.
Yes, and I'm excited to be here again. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, the last one came out in December. I was gonna say 2019. It's not 2019. Oh my sweet Lord.
Not quite.
2024. And it's the story, as a recap, it's the story of a woman who wakes up with no memory. She doesn't remember her name, how she got into this forest, almost naked, not understanding anything about her past. And the hot blacksmith of this crappy little town outside of this forest is there to possibly help her fulfill her mission. The problem is she doesn't know what that mission is. And when she learns it, she actually doesn't like the people. It's like, so how do you do your job when you don't like the people that you're supposed to be saving? That, but women do that all the time.
Yeah.
And so the story is about her understanding who she is and why she is, and understanding just how wrong she's been in the recent past. And The Cruel Dawn, which came out in August, is a direct sequel. It picks up like right where the last one left off. And in that, spoiler alert, Kai remembers. That's not something to celebrate though, because she remembers all the bad things that she's done. And how do you reconcile those bad things with who you are now? And also why you got into that black bad space in the first place. She didn't just become that way for no reason. And so I wanted to talk about identity and memory and reconciliation and the jobs women do when we don't want to do the job because sometimes we think that people don't deserve our efforts. And like the last one, it's a pretty personal story for me. I hear women, especially women of color, talk about not feeling appreciated and being angry about that. And I wanted to pour all that into this woman and the world and the realm that she's responsible for, and just how frustrating and then ultimately rewarding it can be. Yeah, it was incredible to write The Cruel Dawn, especially knowing that me being a mystery writer, as you could probably see, played into that, the cliffhanger and the big mystery of who am I at the very beginning, and then the answer to that. Yeah, so coming back and saying, it was my plan all along.
Yeah. It does, it doesn't completely make the first one, or the last one, it's so funny, that's the title of the it it doesn't make it completely, a different book, but it makes it so much more,
Yeah,
when you realize, 'cause all these mysteries and she's, slowly figuring things out, and the reader is confused with
yeah,
her, but that's, part of the fun of it because 'cause
yeah,
we're like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And then at the end, it was like a hyper upload or download, whatever you wanna call it, where we all get, bored, oh, so much is revealed, towards the end, and then it's, "Oh, shit, where do we go from
yeah,
here?" And then, yeah, with the Cruel Dawn, it picks up and she's just like, "Yeah, I remember now."
yeah. Oh, shit.
And then yeah, she's had to, come to terms with it, and especially now that she realizes much more trouble the people put her through because they don't like her and
Yeah,
because their responses to her either neglect or her actions of how she didn't like them at all, and she realizes oh, I didn't have the luxury of that because throughout the book, again, this isn't totally minor spoil not minor spoiler, but it was also funny because she's just trying to do her job, and it was almost I feel
yes,
like everywhere she goes, the people are up against her, and she's just
yes. I,
"You fools, I'm the person you've got."
there's one
She's I
scene.
almost on her redemption tour, but she's hitting so many obstacles.
And again, we've all, in some ways, have gone through that. There's one scene where I talk about where she would meet with the people of Gasho. And at one point, there are so many people there. And then as time went by, less people came to talk with her, less people until it was just her and the innkeeper and his wife. And we've all been in meetings or situations where people are asking for your help and then they just dwindle off and start doing things on their own and it's wrong and you're there and it's like, why aren't you coming to me for help? I am here for you. And just how frustrating that can be. And I wanted to take those kind of very real things that regular humans face and think about it as from a God perspective. It's like, why wouldn't you be frustrated with humans? We're awful people. We really are.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
lazy. We're not grateful. We forget. We take things for
Mhm.
granted. And for my cosmology, the gods are not perfect. And Kai gets to express those frustrations as someone who's been put there to look after these people and have them not really care anymore. Yeah, she's frustrated. And can
Mhm.
you blame her? We,
No.
as the mother of my family, I get frustrated all the time. I can't say forget it and leave and do that kind of thing, but it is a real feeling that I'm feeling. And yeah,
Yeah. And to touch on, on your earlier parts of, just there's definitely a lot of parallels to what women and specifically women of color face in your story because she is a skin color, but you don't really that's how your world
yeah,
building is some certain peoples or certain races have different color skins and stuff like that, eye colors, what have you. And but it's mostly because I did notice those parallels where she is how I mentioned that okay, she's trying to get back on track and people are not believing her
yeah,
and they're almost working against her, they're against their own self-interest, but
yeah,
it is for a woman, either motherhood or even in the
yep.
workplace, it's a thankless job, but if I wasn't here to do it, you guys would fall apart, I'm
Holy cow.
sorry.
That's why I dedicated The Cruel Dawn to women who are told that they're too much and not enough. because we're never in like the sweet spot of anything.
Mm,
We're
I don't think
either
it's I don't think
I
it
don't think it's possible.
exists.
It's not meant for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're either too weak or
yeah,
too strong. We talk too much or not enough. We're
mm,
too pretty, not pretty enough. Nothing is ever right with us. So you just have to keep going and get a little angry because
yeah,
sometimes that is the only thing that works. That sometimes anger is the only way people will pay attention, because they take for granted the loving part. And the loving part
yeah,
does come out in Kai and the Cruel Dawn. And
mhm.
she,
But she had to dig into her whatever of patience she had.
yeah, because she ultimately loves these people. Yes, part of her is a destroyer, but part of her is also a steward and a healer. And she had to pull that part of her out in order for her to win this ultimate battle between good and evil.
Yeah, and it's so funny also because, like, some of, like, the people she has to turn to for help or that she has no choice but to accept their help, I think with, like, Ellen,
Uh-huh.
that was one of the funniest friendships
I love
that
their
I've ever
friendships.
read. Yeah. 'Cause they're both like you could tell there's such a history there,
Yeah.
and I totally recognize that because even at one point, Kai said to Ellen's mom, like, "Your daughter," like
You can like hear them, right? Yeah, I love their
I loved it.
relationship. And I loved like how Ellen would totally trash on Kai's type, the kind of guy she likes. And we've all had those friends where it's like we don't talk much, but when we're together, we pick up from where we were last. And yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
like the thugs. What's up with that?
You
Yeah. And Kai definitely has some
have a
type.
very specific taste in men. I think that's the phrase she used. She's like, "What do you mean?" Like
That was fun. That was fun getting to revisit their past because the story is about found family and friendship and who we are and who we were and how that affects everything down to even your frenemy and why are you frenemies now and how a mission and what's supposed to be will bring opponents together to try and work together to fight something that's bigger than what their separate little battles are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because it just adds to the layers as if she needed any more layers of what she has to deal with.
Yeah,
Like because she's like a good yeah, like who said, like she has no choice because like her allyship is very
yeah,
valuable. It's like she almost can't survive without that assistance, without that protection, without that healing, without that at least like being on the same page at the very
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Like we both understand there's a bigger picture here and we got to squash our
And
now.
to be a lone wolf is in reality, especially women, we can't be lone wolves. We've always relied on community to come in and help, even when that community gets on our nerves sometimes. But we realize from when we're on the playground that we have to work together somehow. We have to
Mhm.
we have to put aside the little petty battles that we engage in to go beat that guy up over there because he looked up your
Yeah.
skirt. It's like that's
Yeah.
just who we are. And I liked revisiting again that type of relationship and that type of larger picture.
Yeah, I no, that does remind me, I don't know, I hate that I don't know the woman that gave the original speech, but because I heard it through one of Beyoncé's songs where she does a sample, and it's one of this like,
Yes.
"Oh, we're pitted against each other for competing for,
Uh-huh.
like, companionship for a husband, not for, like, a job
Yeah.
or like, a success. We're
Yeah.
not competing each other for success, we're competing each other for the men," and then it's like, even from other men, like, people like, it's just
I
society
want to
in
say that
general, it's like,
was,
"No, this is where you should."
yeah.
I was gonna say
It was
maybe you
June
know, but
Jordan or it was
could yeah.
it,
I think she was, like, from, like, African, she sounded he had, like, a thick
yeah.
accent,
Yeah,
so,
it
yeah.
sounded, yeah, yeah. God, who was it? I
But
know
I
who
just
it
remember I was,
is.
like, listening to that song, and I'm like, whenever that song came on my shuffle, I was like,
Yeah, no.
"Skip it, it's a good
I love
one." It
that
just,
song.
like
Oh, I love Beyonce.
yeah,
And of course,
yeah.
it's always been my soundtrack when writing these
Yeah.
books, both Renaissance and then Cowboy Carter. It was on loop
Mhm.
because Kai is a Gemini. Wait, no, I'm sorry, she's a Virgo. She's a
Or
Virgo.
Virgo? I was gonna
And
say 'cause that is
yeah.
I don't know, I know that's, like, random information that I know that Beyoncé is a Virgo.
Yeah, she is a Virgo and Beyonce's Virgo. I'm a Taurus, which
Mhm.
means I'm Virgo light. But it's
Yeah.
still that kind of like getting shit done. And you can thank me later and hate me all you want, but you're going to be thankful that I'm here and I have the plan.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's like how much of a how simple or how much more productive could we be if more people just came to terms with
Yeah.
that? I don't like you, but I think, like, if you have a solid plan, like some of our I mean, maybe not these days because it's like it's hard
Back in the days.
with our
Yeah.
current administration aside, it's like I feel like, yeah, there were even former, like, leaders where I was like, "I don't think I like you, but I don't hate exactly." I'm
You're
like,
smart.
it's yeah, it's
Okay.
like you're not being completely evil, and
Yeah,
that's just yeah, and then unfortunately, I think it's just easier for women to receive that sort of reaction. It's
definitely.
like, "Oh, I disagree with you, then absolutely I hate you. I
Yeah.
disagree with or I don't like your policies, so you're a dumb broad."
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
no, you just don't you're not getting the full picture
Yeah.
or like I am qualified, but you just don't you hate them. Things like that. And it's
Yeah.
even I try my best to see like across the aisle too. I'm like, "Ugh, I don't like her, but I'm gonna give her credit for being the first woman to do this." I'm like, "That's one like little
That's one.
point that she gets," but I'm like,
Other than
"Yeah."
that, I'll be right at gone. No, but
I'm
I
like,
think
"That's like my little sisterhood that I'm gonna" yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's why it was an incredible opportunity to write this duology because I think we all see ourselves and we are seen
Yeah.
as the villain and the intruder and the irritant in society. And listen to the women. Always listen to the
Yeah.
women. Yeah.
It's so crazy how I know it, but I think what the one of the positive sides of social media, I think, is that the conversation's getting a little bit louder and it's
Yeah.
expanding
Yeah.
so much more broadly.
Yeah.
And where I think the more, because I always like when I doom scroll, I always am curious and I read the comments to see
Me
what like
too.
public opinion leans
Yeah.
towards, even if it's like, and I'll even like scroll through stuff of like, I try to not let the algorithm get me because I do wanna be aware of what the other side is saying, and
Yeah,
it's so tricky, but
definitely.
I it does comfort me when I read some comments or even the second someone says something, like, horrible, people are on that
Yeah.
person, like, like, "What?" Like, "Dude,"
Yeah.
like, no,
And
or "Really, woman?" Whatever, like, because women can be just as,
oh,
misinformed or toxic as
yeah, and
well,
that's heartbreaking
yeah,
because we're
it
supposed to
is.
be we don't have the luxury of being dumb and
Mm,
curious. And if you're a mother, you really don't because you have to protect your kid.
oh god,
And
yeah,
yeah, no, when I was creating the story, yeah, I had to dip into the other worlds to refresh myself on the
yeah,
opposition and the pushback because I like making my stories as real as possible even though they're fiction. They are inspired by
yeah,
very real feelings and emotions
that's how
and instances. Mhm.
yeah, that's how readers relate to it
Yeah.
better. That's how you can connect with them
Yeah.
because they're like, they recognize these things.
Right.
And especially like now when I've just see so much like conversation about people being like, oh, reading isn't, why do books aren't political? I'm like,
Even if you take
Harry
a book,
Potter, get
all of
out
it's
of here.
political. All of it's
Like, if you want
political.
how far back do you wanna go? How popular do you wanna go? And if you didn't realize the nuances of, like, the undertones, the messaging, then do you enjoy reading
I don't get
I just don't
that.
understand people. I understand if they don't wanna see certain discourse, like, in their feed, then move along,
Well,
don't follow that person.
yeah,
But,
but
like, if you're in the book
trust.
space trying
Books are
to
political.
yeah,
Art is
that's
that's the whole
100%,
point. That's the whole point of
100%.
expression. Yeah.
It's like, why are people trying to ban them if it's not like, get out of here?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's why I'm
I don't
just
either.
that yeah.
I don't either. I don't either.
I just loved how we got so much more of Kai's backstory and little bit of a, like, a love triangle,
Yeah.
not like it was I was waiting for that confrontation to happen. I was, like,
Yeah.
waiting for, like, the showdown, and it was so funny when it like, they came so close and they were still like, "No, we're gonna keep we're gonna keep them separate." Like
No,
even
that
like it was
was
like a woman it was like a woman's mission, like, "Nah, this is not a good idea, like, we
yeah,
don't need
I'm
this right now."
good. I don't think so. No, that was fun because there were hints of that question in the last one where Jaden asked,
Mhm,
"What if the old you is in love with someone else?" And here we are, and it's a very real
mhm,
thing. Even dealing with that, it was hard that broke my heart for Kai to having to deal with what love
yeah,
is, who to love, betrayal on both sides. And what is she supposed to do? Where's she supposed to put her
Isn't
father?
that wasn't that a thing? Like, it wasn't ain't that a bitch? Where it was like, no, she had 2, and they both betrayed her.
Yeah, both
They both
assholes.
were holding yeah, they were both holding stuff back, and,
Uh-huh.
like, I'm like, "Damn." Also, like, further broke down her as a character where she's like, "What is real? What is not trust?"
Yeah,
Like, and it's such that was so heartbreaking because she's already up against the world. She's
yeah,
already, like, clinging on to what
yeah,
she has and who's being taken away from willingly walking away,
yeah.
and yeah, it
Which
was
is
just another
why I wanted her father to be there, because even with their conflict, his love for her is absolute. Now,
yeah,
whether he has to punish her for that, parents have to do those things.
yeah,
He loves her and he wants her to
mhm,
like exist. And it, out of everyone in the story, I would say Sybil and her dad are like her parent figures. And I wanted to say something about parenthood. Like my daughter, there's nothing that she can do that will stop me from loving her. And in a way, as a person of faith, that's how I see God. No matter
mhm,
what awful, evil things you do, God is love. That's it. And I wanted Kai, even with her tumultuous love life and her friendships that slip in and out of whatever stages they are, at least he may be upset with her and he may punish her, but he is her father and he will be there for her in the very end, and she can count on him. And he shows up with
yeah.
everything, with armor and love and all the rest of it. And she needed
And it
that.
was so I imagine that was a little tricky for you to portray because from, like, the impression that I got, it was another heartbreaking interaction for her because she had imagined what this reunion
Yeah.
would be like.
Yeah.
And he's "We got some things to deal with here. We gotta, like, talk about A, B, and C, and
She's like,
Missy," like,
it's
for
like,
lack of
blah,
better
blah,
words,
blah.
he's like yeah,
Writing the
but
story
it's
in her
so
head.
true.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's yeah, it was so sad too because she's, like, really, like it's like I feel like every time it was like
Uh-huh.
she was meeting with a new character, reuniting with them, she was like, "You too?" Like,
Yeah.
and that's I felt for her,
Yeah,
for
no, I did
sure.
too. Because the when you're in AA, you hear all the steps that you have to go through, and reconciling with people is one of those. And I would think that's the
Mhm.
hardest thing, to return to someone that you hurt or a situation
Yeah.
where you weren't your best and having to admit, yeah, I sucked. And I
Oh,
really want to
yeah.
move past this, but I don't get that. You have the right to say what you need to say to me. And I have to stand here and listen. And being both a mom and a daughter, I wanted to bring that discomfort to the story because it's real, it's true, it
It
has
is
to
real.
happen.
Exactly, I just remember I think I've, like, from age 12 to 22, I didn't get along with,
Uh
and I think that's just, like, over a span of just, like, a natural coming of age of what mother or father-daughter relationships,
huh.
that's just part of the deal,
Yeah.
and it's could be father-daughter, it also could be because I feel like I'm just so much like him. We're just, like, kinda like well, like, we don't say it to each other, we're like, "No, fuck you." Like, "No,
Yeah.
fuck you." Like, we just,
Yeah.
like like
Uh-huh.
and it's but then when I got old enough, like, when I got, like, through college and everything, where I was, like, getting old like, I was just getting older and learning more about the world and be coming into, like, my 20s because I feel like even now I'm, like, late 30s and I'm still, like, I'm looking forward to any more growing I have
Yeah.
to do. Like, it's just natural,
Yeah.
and exactly how you said, like, now that I'm a parent, but even when I got, like, mid-20s, I was like, sometimes you just have to eat shit when it comes to your parents.
You do.
And
And it
it
pisses you
just, like, even
off.
if you yeah, because like, you're like, "I know you're in the wrong, but you're still my father,
Yeah.
and I'm still gonna hear you out, and I'm hoping that someday you will learn to see me as a grown up with the most grown up that is possible."
Yeah,
I
and maybe sometimes that doesn't happen. Like I'm 55
Mhm.
and my father passed 2 years ago. And
Oh, okay.
he wasn't the best person. He was very bright. I get my drive from him. And of I think there are 4 kids. Of all 4, I was the kind of hard ass when it came to him because I expected
Mm.
more from
Where are
him.
you in the lineup?
I'm
Are
the
you the
oldest
oldest or,
girl.
like yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that was also against yeah.
Yeah. And my heart always had hoped he'd change in many ways. And even on his deathbed, he was who he was. And
No.
here I am writing the script for like our last reunion, and it wasn't that. And I took
Mm,
that into these interactions that Kai had with her father, how she's
yeah.
like, okay, now you're supposed to say this, and this is
Yeah.
supposed to happen. And it's like, that's not going to happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. And you will have to deal with it and live with that
Yeah.
and move forward. Take what you can from it.
Unfortunately, I think that's so common too,
Yeah.
like, there's so many adults and older adults and, like, with stories like yours
Yeah.
and where they just don't get that,
No.
reconciliation, like,
Yeah.
you just or that kind of, like, leveling just got and
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and even in
Mm.
my crime stories, I don't believe, okay, fine, we will find the murderer, right? And the murderer will go to jail, but the person who's been wronged is still hurt. There is no such real thing as closure because there's a wound in you that will never heal. And so, what is your
Yeah.
happily ever after? Yes, we're together, me and my dad, Kai and her father, but there's still some things that are unresolved. And even in the end of this story, if it was to pick up from the last page, they still have stuff that they need to figure out. Like, really, why did you? I know you left my mom and me to protect us, but are you telling me there were no other ways to protect us? So
Yeah.
there's still some unresolved things or a resolution, but it just isn't satisfactory. And that is life.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
it.
as much as internally we're like, "No, wait, this isn't right." We're forced to, like, accept and deal with what we get.
Yeah.
Like, we get what we get,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a shame, but it's like, you kinda yeah, it's a hard mentality, but I feel like if you can accomplish that mentality of you just allow yourself to accept it,
Yeah.
then you get a little bit more chance at
Yep.
peace that way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I can imagine, like, when I was going like, just from this conversation so far and, like, the stuff that Kai went through, I can tell, like, this so many of these were, like, therapeutic for you to not
Yes.
just, like, from daughter's point of view or from a woman of color's point of view, but a mother's point of view, like, all these parts, all these roles that you
Yeah.
play, and, like, all like, you integrated, you sprinkled all of that in with poor Kai's journey. You
Poor
were like,
guy.
"I'm gonna throw this at you. I'm gonna throw this at you. Okay, no, you thought you could go without incident? Nope. Another day goes by, you're gonna get stuck. You're
Yeah.
running out of time. Nope, we're gonna throw this at you."
Because that is real life, right? You get up
Yeah.
every day and with 2 kids and a partner or not, life does not, like, wait for you to finish one thing to start next. You always get the heel of the bread when you were hoping for a whole sandwich. You were
Yeah.
hoping for that some orange juice, and there's just enough there to just
Yeah.
piss you off, and all of it swirls around you, and you just have to deal. That's it.
Yeah.
And so I write my stories where you don't get any kind of like gaps because
Mhm.
you may get a nice day where nothing like dramatic happens, but for the most part, something is always on fire. And women, especially, we just have to learn how to manage that and
Yeah.
either let it burn for a little bit longer or freak out. And most of us
Yeah.
can't afford to freak out. And Kai can't afford to freak out because the realm is at stake. She can't
Exactly.
just walk away because her walking away means death for not only Ballon but for her entire family, for her. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I know, I always joke about, like, I would in certain stories, I would be such a boring character because 'cause I'd be like, "This is not my problem. I'm done. This is not my circus, not my monkeys, not
The
my,
end.
rodeo, whatever you wanna say." I would just be like, "You know what? Not my problem. You guys deal with it." But then it's like, that's why I would be such a boring character. There would be no
Oh,
story.
I'd find
But,
something,
like
I'd just pull it all out.
yeah.
I'd pull it all out.
You'd find a way to be like, "No,
Mm,
action. Like,
yep,
come
yep.
on.
Oh, yeah.
You can't ignore this.
Mm-mm.
This little thing, this is
Mhm.
something you could
Yeah,
deal
I
with.
would
It's
poke,
okay."
like, holes
Like
in your tire as you're trying to drive
yeah.
away from the circus, and you have to go back
Yeah.
in the house
They'd be
to
like, ask yeah, like, "Okay, anybody help?" And then, "Nope. Hey, you're back."
Yep. Written by Rachel
It's
Howzell
so
Hall.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would, like, joke I'm like, plus I wouldn't either that or I wouldn't survive, like, a week,
Mm,
any fantasy world.
yeah.
It's like, yes, like, I want to escape, but if this were really me, I don't know how long I would last. I would
gonna go
I'd
into
be
that
like
corner over there and just
or
curl.
I'd be like, "Oh, cute puppy," and then I just know, like, what is it? You're like your wind wolves or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, "Oh,
Oh,
doggies," and then
come
like, no, yeah.
here. And they just chomp your head off in the end. Yep.
Exactly, I
Yeah,
know, it's like,
red
"Whoops,
shirted.
whoops." Red-shirted, oh my god, that's so hilarious. I don't think I've ever heard that term. That's amazing. So I wanna, like, piggyback off something that you said earlier about you were switching genres because you haven't really written any other fantasy or
No,
romantasy than this, right?
right.
So how was it, like, any of those skills and approaching a new genre? Did you approach it differently? Any big lessons learned that?
I I started the same as I do with my mysteries, and it's always with the woman, and the woman who is seen as an outsider and an irritant, and placing her in a world that doesn't want her there, that doesn't value her. So that was the same. What was different, of course, was the actual physical world, what to call it, and what do they believe? How do they believe it? What do they worship? All that was the hard part for me, knowing how big and far to go and how to make it interesting because I wanted to not just include the world. I being a mystery thriller writer, I wanted to keep the plot moving, so learning how to balance that.
Mhm.
And I don't have any first novels that I've written and put in the trunk other than the last one. That was my first attempt and done in real time. And so, of course, when I look back, there are things that I've learned since then and things I do different. But I'm glad that I learned quickly and wrote the Cruel Dawn, and it was a much smoother process because one, I understood just how big I could make it, and two, I had finally learned how to balance action with the world building more.
Mm.
And I also just felt better that I could answer a lot of the questions that people had. That just gave me some freedom because I knew what the story arc would be, and I knew that there would be questions, and I knew that folks didn't know me from mystery, so they didn't know what they were getting, what bargain I was striking with them. And everyone who's read me knew exactly what I was doing because they've seen me done do this before. So yeah, that was hard getting people to trust me and being
Yeah.
new again. I've been writing, my first novel was 2002. And so I've been doing this for a while and having to start over in a new genre, that was hard for me to live in because
That's
it's
a
like,
long time to live in one genre and then to
yeah,
take a stab at
oh
another one.
my
Yeah.
God, yeah. But
Or because
it's
you had been doing it, you felt a little more confident in your craft where you're like, "I think I'm ready for this."
and that's the only reason why I said okay, because to step away, well, to take on something new, it is a ballsy thing, and you do have to have some kind of like cocaine confidence to do it. And I wouldn't have tried it if I didn't think that I wasn't smart enough to learn. And while I didn't get everything perfect the first time, I took all that I had learned and applied it to the next book. And I don't think that anyone has the answers. I think writing is always iterative and that you're constantly learning and doing better. Even with my mysteries, I don't go back and read them because I've learned things since then. And I
Yeah.
can read a wonky
If you
sentence and
go
it'll be
back
like,
and read your earliest
oh
works,
my
yeah.
God, who wants to do that? That is awful. The only thing that I go back and read is like the very first story that I wrote called Blue Monday, and I was in third grade. And I'll read that because it's like, oh, there's baby Rachel starting out in story
Yeah.
world. And that was a pretty
Oh,
good
that's hilarious.
story. But other than
Yeah.
that, no, you won't catch me reading my stories from even just last year. I'm not gonna do it because there's writing can always be, an art can always be improved. It's the best thing that you do at that point, but we grow as humans and we grow as artists,
Yeah.
and you're constantly putting all that you learn into your new work. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
It absolutely, like, and then I just think about, like, how long I've been doing this, but then when I look at, like, my earliest episodes, when I'm like, "Oh my god," like,
Why is she
I'm like
just
I'm like
talking?
yeah, or, like, I could tell I'm totally, like my energy is weird because 'cause I'm still, like, not confident
Yeah.
in myself, but then now it's like a whole new person because 'cause
You're
I'm
Miss
like,
Cantina
I'm
Book.
just I was yeah,
Yeah.
I just established it, and I'm like, I'm openly a dork, and, like, even when people who, like, haven't I could tell because some authors, they're, like, so introverted and they don't wanna talk,
Yeah.
or they don't like doing the events or the signings or anything like that, but they know that they should, they
Yeah.
have to. But or if it's their first podcast interview, I'm like, I'm the person you least intimidating. Like, you have to least intimidated by and I to set the tone where I'm like, "Whatever, like, if you don't want video, it's less work for me. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't wanna, like, me to take a picture, don't worry about it. I just want you to feel comfortable so that we focus on the good stuff."
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
like, it's really and I think and I've had people reach back out to me, be like, "No, like, it was seriously, like, just such a casual thing. I felt so comfortable, and, like, I was
Yeah.
talking to, like, a
You're a great
friend." And I was
interviewer.
like, "I love that."
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was like, "I love that because it's like, yeah, that's what's, like, so it's casual, it doesn't have to be so, like, stiff. Plus, it's like some of the I want you to feel comfortable enough to, like, really talk about, like, the method behind your
Yeah.
madness and
Yeah, and it is madness.
get really in because it's again, like because it is, like, some
Yeah.
of it is, like, you're pulling out of, like, how I said, it could be therapeutic. You're
Yeah.
pulling out of,
It
like,
is. Yeah.
your internal shit that maybe you have or have not dealt with, confronted yet,
Yeah.
but, like, you could throw your characters through it and be like, "Oh, okay, like, I see." Like,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. I
And
love it
thank you
that
for
you guys are able
giving
to do
us
that.
the space to do that because, yeah, it is more than just a story. It is our life
Mhm.
and the shit that we're going through at that point and learning how to talk about it in an artful, interesting way with a plot and everything. Because
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause of the plot,
Yeah.
but, like, to understand everything going on, but I was still, like, using my knowledge from what I was gathering so far, and I was like, "Wait a second."
Yeah. No, she has that
It was just
horrible
yeah.
thought and someone's like, "Yeah, no, you didn't have to." It's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, okay. What
Yeah.
what we do for love."
I know, that would have been oh god, so messy, but I love the messiness
Yeah.
sometimes.
No,
Like,
and one of
I'm
my
there, like
favorite scenes, it was a small scene, but she goes into Caver and the people there are pissed and wanting to beat her and everything. And someone shoots an arrow at her and she knows who it is and it's a young kid. And they're like, don't do anything. He's just a boy. And like the last line that I write is basically saying that, yeah, he's a boy, but the first person he's going to kill is his mom because I'm thinking about school shooters and specifically I'm thinking about Sandy Hook and how that kid, the
mhm.
first person to go was his mom. And yeah,
Yeah.
even with a scene like that, I'm constantly thinking about
Yeah.
our world and just how fucked
But
up
it's
it is.
so yeah,
Yeah.
because it is, it's like you can't it's really hard to, like, really make these impactful, like, human adjacent, at least, stories without touching upon that serious and, like, that real life example because it's so true. Because she's the one, like, kind of like, she's trying to protect him, but it's like that's she's gonna be the first
Yeah.
because he's you could see it in his eyes, like,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
he's not
Yeah.
all there,
Yeah.
and it's sad.
Yeah,
That's
it
why I'm like, "No, I'm
is.
raising 2 little boys," and I'm just hoping and plus with, like, so much technology, and I know, like, they're so there's an age where they'll be susceptible to things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, at the very least, I just don't want them to turn out, like, to be misogynist,
Right.
racist, or I want them to value human life.
Yeah.
I want them to know when to mind their own business.
Uh-huh.
Like,
And when
I
to
want
get
them to know, like,
involved.
just
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
so tricky, it's so hard,
It
especially
is. It
'cause
is.
it's just so I try my best to, like, especially because 'cause they're, like, they're so white. They're so
Uh-huh.
white. They're, like, blonde hair, fair skin, and so I know that's also another layer of,
Yeah.
like,
But you can do it.
SPF aside,
Yeah.
like, I know, yeah, it's just like it is, and, like, there's certain just situations where I'm just oh,
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe they don't realize it yet,
Mhm.
but
But you're gonna
because
help them
because
see that.
kids
You're gonna help them see because you
yeah,
care
I try to
and
take it
yeah, and you
baby
see
steps,
yourself as a responsible member of society, and you want them to be good people, and that's what,
Yeah,
Cruel Dawn is all about, how to be a good people, and what happens when your desire to be that kind of, like, runs rampant, so much so that you burn out and get angry, and
yeah,
Kai burned out and
yeah,
got angry.
and she's justified,
Yeah,
like, we can as readers, like, we can understand,
yeah.
like and where people have to tell her, like, "Chill," and she's like she's
You know
just like
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "Who asked you?" You
Yep.
know, like,
You
what
need to go back and
no,
sit
like
down and be a
yeah.
failure as I try and figure this out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's serious I felt for her. She's dealing with the possibility of she's running out of time, but then also it's like she's trying to convince these people. So she's like, "I'm your person,
Yeah.
and I got you."
Yeah.
And she's also just like coming into self-awareness
Yeah.
of as she's getting her memories back.
Mm.
It's such like a complex like character story because she's it's just because you are like who are you without your memories, without the lessons you've learned.
Exactly.
Like yeah,
Exactly.
and that's, like, so fascinating to me.
Thank you.
So crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
so
it was
glad you
and
got
it's
that.
a and I yeah, and I imagine it was tricky to accomplish too,
Yeah.
where you were like, "How am I gonna drive this home?" With memory loss, that's the huge part of it, where it's like, "Who are you then?" Like, are you following into your old habits?
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, because you don't remember the lesson you learned
Right.
to make this change,
Exactly.
and it's so I
And I'm so glad you got all that. Yeah.
of course. I'm gonna throw this at you.
Mhm.
Maybe you touched on it earlier. What were the most challenging parts to write? What were the most enjoyable parts to write?
Definitely the enjoyable parts were her back and forth with Elin because that the female relationships are just fascinating and dangerous. And
Mm,
for them to come back together with all this unresolved stuff and then resolving some of it, but it still kind of lingers. And that was really fun to write. It was fun getting her and Jaden back in the same space and them talking about things that they haven't talked about. That was a challenge. It was fun imagineering Zephyr. He's like Jason Momoa meets, oh my gosh, what's his name from the show Power? Oh, got it. Omari Hutchison, I think it is. That was fun. That was, he's dreamy. So those were fun. I would say the difficult parts were weaving in the past so that it wasn't just info dumping everything. I wanted to keep some motion, some forward motion as she's remembering things. And that was, I would say, probably the most difficult, wanting to have that kind of forward motion and momentum as I'm sharing what her past was. For instance, what type of God was she before she lost her memory? Her
mhm.
meeting, having like the town hall meetings with the people of Gosh Show and all their rituals and all that. I wanted to share all that, but I knew that I had to keep it moving and keep it relevant instead of just saying, and they would erect the statues and the statues
Yeah.
were so that I would say integrating her past life into the story for forward momentum. That was probably the hardest thing, but it was fun because I got to go back and read about Mesopotamia because that's basically what that society is based on, and how
Okay.
people worshiped and what they thought of their gods, and how all that, all the learning stuff I got to do and mix it up with some ancient Egypt and Christianity and all the rest of it. That
Yeah.
was all very
Yeah.
fun as I'm growing this world. I still miss Viral, her mentor from the past, but in that place, she has an uncle who tolerates her not at all. He was fun to write. He is Jeffrey Wright. No, he's not Jeffrey Wright in my head. He's, oh, there's an older black actor who looks like Jeffrey Wright but older. He's an old guy. So having him move around the room in his robes, that was a fun thing.
Yeah. I feel like that's one where you could, like, show, don't tell. You could kinda, like, give a reader a good idea just saying very little, like, you
Yeah.
could pack a lot in very little. It's yeah.
And then Shari giving her like this pet wolf.
I
I
know.
loved her having that relationship with
Uh,
her what ended up being her wolf. Yeah, I loved
yeah.
Shari. Yeah.
I know, me too. I'm just a sucker for dogs, as you could, like you tell with my little visitor, but no, it's really funny whenever there's love it that, like, genuine understanding of, like, everybody appreciates a pet, like,
Yeah.
or a feathery, furry, scaly even wingman or wing pet, you
Wing
know?
pet.
Somebody's like,
Yep.
"Your right-hand pet."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it. I love it
And
for
coming up with
sure.
the
I know.
rules for that
Yeah.
pet. Yeah. because
Like, the relationships, the
uh-huh,
companionship, and
yeah,
because yeah, we see that, like, or at least Kai kinda notices. She's like, What's wrong?" Because like, Shari's kinda like she's, like, anxious, and Kai's picking up on that, and then if that's revealed where it's like, "No, loyalty, I got you, girl,"
yeah,
like, I couldn't
yeah,
where it's like, it wouldn't like, it was like the it's almost like, yeah, I wish my dog could talk, but, no, at the same time,
yeah,
it was
because oh
like,
my god.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, one fun thing I got to do, there are Easter eggs everywhere, but one cool one for me was I was trying to come up with a name for the crusader who, like, basically
Mm.
tries to infiltrate her camp. And I'm like, "What is this weirdo loser's name?" And I came up with Orit Rolls, and that's weirdo loser as an anagram. And it's like, that's his name. This is the weirdo loser. His name is Orwid.
Oh my god, I love that. That is not something that's oh god, that's perfect. Because 'cause you're like, "I don't know what to name him. I'm just gonna take it.
Yep, yep.
I'm just gonna"
What name can I make out of this?
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Yep,
That's
yep,
hilarious. Yeah,
yep,
that's
yep.
something I didn't, like, necessarily pick up because I was like, "Wait, what's his name again?" I was like, "Okay, there it is, there it is." I was like and it's one of those things where I was like, I don't really pronounce it in my brain, I
Huh?
kinda just, like,
You
read
just
over.
see,
It's
yeah,
hilarious.
so now you're
That
going
is
to say, "Oh, there it
hilarious.
is, weirdo loser."
Yep. Yeah.
Everything has some intent and
Oh my
yep,
god,
yep,
I
yep.
love it. That is hilarious. What do you hope readers get out of this duology?
Identity is always shifting. You are who you are at your core, but life changes you. And sometimes life can beat you down and you just want to give up and just walk away from it. And maybe you have a moment where you get to do that and just like zone out and not like look at the news or be involved. But we need you. We, the
Yeah.
world is in a perilous place right now, and we need you, just as Valendor needs Kai. And
Yeah. So, like,
you're
almost like all hands on
all
deck,
hands
you
on
know?
deck
It's
because,
yeah.
yeah, it feels like we're careening towards something and you aren't alone. And that's why I wanted to write this story because she is us, we are her.
Yeah,
And fantasy has
seriously.
always paralleled real life and what was going on at the time. Lord of the Rings is a perfect example of that, written during the big World War II, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's that you're not perfect, and that's okay. There's no such thing, but you do have a point here. You do have a job, and take a breath if you need it, but come back to the fight.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause poor Kai.
yeah.
It was just but she is all I related to her on more than one level just because I was like, "I get it, be mad," and I like, you there's the fact that she seemed to just live, like, be constantly frustrated,
Mhm.
constantly, like, tired of everyone's shit. And she was just like, "Can I just do my job?"
Right?
Like
I just want to punch in, punch out, go drink over there, sleep with him, pet my
and
wolf.
it's just right? And she had to be like, "Okay, like, I gotta deal with my ex-bestie, and then
Yeah,
I gotta, like, get my
my
dad, this
dad.
reunion with him." Like, just, like, dealing with all gosh, I felt for her. I was like, "I would be tired too. I would take a nap
Yeah, I
too."
want a nap.
But
I want a nap and some
yeah.
Cheetos
Right,
and some red wine and
yes,
just to be left alone.
exactly.
Yeah.
That sounds
Mhm.
like an amazing time. A wine and Cheetos pairing and then a nap.
Yep,
Perfect.
yep, yep, yep.
What is next for you? Are you working on anything that you can talk about?
Yeah, I am constantly writing. So the mystery realm, I'm continuing on with a PI series that I'm the first came out in July, and that'll be out next year. And then for romantasy, I'm working on a contemporary romantasy. I would say it's a Bermuda Triangle story.
Okay.
And if I were to comp it, it would be White Lotus meets The Island of Dr. Moreau meets Get Out. So we are
Ooh,
leaning into the mystery, into more mystery. And
okay.
yeah, and yeah, and weird things happen in the Bermuda Triangle. especially us Gen Xers who grew up with that and
I was gonna
quicksand and
say,
spontaneous combustion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that was such a big deal
It
for
was
a
a big
while,
deal, and
like,
now it's so I'm bringing
there's
back the Bermuda Triangle.
Plus, Get Out was amazing. I've heard of Dr. Moreau, I have approached it, but what is it?
White
White Lotus,
Lotus.
it's so unique, like, I think I was talking to another author about this, it was like, it's serious, but it's unserious
Yeah,
at the same time,
yeah.
where it's just like
I haven't
I think this last season
seen the
especially.
3rd
Have you not seen the
season
last
yet
season? Okay,
because I
I
love
it's
Jennifer Coolidge, and she's not.
yeah, that was a mistake. That was a
Yes,
mistake. They
'cause
should've just kept bringing her back.
right, please bring her back. Please let her have, like, a concussion or something, and
You know what, right?
they rescued her from the water or something, but they did not.
But I will say that her plot does continue in the 3rd
Okay,
season, and
okay,
yeah, so it adds to, like, a side storyline, her whole ordeal with her husband and who
uh,
may or may not have recognized him and is curious about, "Wait, what happened?"
okay,
And yeah, if anything, I don't think this is a spoiler, but one of another character from a previous season makes another run in the 3rd season.
okay.
And I won't spoil it for you, but just I think she was a favorite. She was one of the better ones, so it was fun. Also, but I think it was just also some of the characters are just so, like, out of control,
Yeah,
and, like, it's like, okay, there's this serious, like, eerie shit going on, but then it's just like you see so and so walking in and just being
yeah,
themselves, and
which I love
yeah,
because that's what life is.
somehow
Uh-huh,
yeah,
yeah,
like, it balances it.
yeah.
It's so funny.
So,
It's so
yeah,
funny.
I'm bringing some of that energy, and I can't wait to share that with you when it's gonna be out.
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
meantime, I do recommend I would say I don't think you will be disappointed. I would encourage you to go with season 3.
Yeah,
Go
my daughter
forward.
she's waiting for me to because 'cause she's seen it.
Oh, no, you're making her
I'm
wait?
making her wait.
Or you're not no, that's her choice.
I think after I finish this draft, then I will have some downtime in November and December,
Yeah.
and I will
You're
check it out.
just writing more best-selling novels. It's
That's
not like you
all.
have time to, like, but binge watch TV shows. Come on.
Now I do.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel Howzell Hall, where can we find you online and on social media?
So you can always reach me at www.rachelhousel.com and on Instagram at rhousel and Threads. I think it's the same thing and Blue Sky. So I'm out there. Say hi.
Perfect. Yeah, I know there's a bunch out there. I try my best to keep up, but it's good to like let people know where they can find you in
Yes.
case exactly. So yes, Rachel Howzell Hall, The Cruel Dawn, that's a sequel to the last one. Both are out right now. Thanks for chatting again, for your time and your authentic, vulnerability and your answers and all that. And when and if you're ready for your next title to go out into the world, feel free to come back. I'd love to chat
I would
again.
love to come back. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing my stories with your listeners.
There you go. And there you go. That was Rachel Howzell Hall talking about her book, The Cruel Dawn. That is the sequel to the last one. It's a complete duology, and both the books are available now. Check out the show notes where you can find links, find Rachel online on social media, and where you can purchase the book. In the show notes, you'll also see where to find Cantina Book Club on your favorite social media book communities such as Bookstagram, BookTok, BookTube, Threads, Facebook, and more. And I would love and appreciate it if you could hit that follow or subscribe button so that you never miss out on book reviews or author interviews. If you have any book loving friends who are looking to get more out of their reading lists, please share Cantina Book Club with them so that they can find upcoming releases and interviews with authors. Another way to help this podcast is to head on over to your favorite podcast player and give Cantina Book Club a rating and a review. It helps me so much to reach more listeners and book lovers like you. And that goes for any podcast you listen to. It's one of the easiest things that you could do to help out. If you need book recommendations, you can reach out to me. I'm always excited to share my thoughts. Or you can head on over to cantinabookclub.com to read more in depth book reviews from all types of genres. While you're at it, you could subscribe by entering the email on your website so that you can get new reviews and episode posts delivered directly to your inbox. If you want to support Cantina Book Club even more, you can donate by filling out the form on the website on cantinabookclub.com. Whether it's a one-time donation or as little as $1 a month, I seriously appreciate the support and will share my appreciation by giving you some love on the show. And finally, one of the best ways to help authors promote their works is to head over to Amazon, Goodreads, Storygraph, or wherever you keep track of your reading lists. Give any book that you finish a rating or review. It really does help them out almost as much as tagging on social media or actually purchasing the book. Thanks so much for listening, and see you next time. Cheers.